Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Oh my gosh, yes. I am in the middle of moving, and I have this idea that I can do everything I normally do and move, and just somehow stuff all that into the same amount of energy and time that I always have. My brain is just absolutely frazzled. You would not believe how many times I have tried to record a video tonight and gotten about 30 seconds in and gotten so garbled that I had to give up and start over. Yeah, it's one of those nights. So I made coffee, hoping that at least the coffee will help remind my brain cells of what they otherwise can do just fine. You know, speaking in English. Yeah. Basic stuff. So, my intention this evening was to do this video, which is a summary of my October reading, and a second short excerpt video reading part of a letter from Rainer Maria Rilke that I find really pertinent to my experiences watching the war in Israel. It turned out to be a really good book. Anyway, so this is about October. Yes, just about October. We're going to try and keep it at just that one topic. So, I finished 29 books in October 2023, which was actually really good. Some of them weren't very long, but some of them were. My longest book was an audiobook. I finished The Complete Chronicles of Conan, which, if it was in print, was a 927-page book. Since it was an audiobook, I don't remember how many hours of audio it was. I know that I was listening to it while I had sick kittens and was cleaning a lot. So that's how you get through those long audiobooks. You have something where you just need something to occupy your brain while you're doing something, tedious, gross, or boring. Yeah. So that was a good audiobook. I am reading the print versions of those books as well, the individual books, and I finished several of those before I started The Complete Chronicles of Conan. And I think there are some small differences between some of the individually printed novels and The Complete Chronicles of Conan. There's some details that I could have sworn happened a little differently in those stories. So I'm definitely reading both. In any case, that was my longest audiobook. My longest print book was the biographical novel on Camille Pissarro called Depths of Glory by Irving Stone. It came in at 624 pages. The next longest book I did is combination print and audio, and that was The Tenet of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte? I think it was Anne Bronte. Anyway, yes. So that one, I don't know, I thought it was an interesting book. It started in a very different way from the rest of the book. So I'm still not sure how I really think about Tenet of Wildfell Hall. I liked it. I don't know. Anyway, that was my longest classic or book from a list that I finished in October. And then the shortest book that I read in October was 118 pages. It was Buck Shivitz's Memories. So that was one of those art books that I read during Dewey's Readathon. That was the one I really liked that I showed pictures of from. And I'm keeping that one. The other art books that I read, I'm not. And I read a few other short books that I really enjoyed. I think my favorite book from my October reading is still Suddenly in the Depths of the Forest by Amos Oz. That one was only 144 pages. Not one on the Box Dolls list, but Amos Oz does have a book on the 1001 Books You Must Read Before You Die list. Just not that one. I finished several other books off the 1001 Books You Must Read Before You Die list. I read Thousand Cranes by Yasunari Kawabata, and Pleasure, also known as The Child of Pleasure, by Gabriel D'Annunzio. Heart of a Dog by Mikhail Bulgakov. Hallucinating Foucault by Patricia Dunker. I don't remember if Oman Ra is on either the Box Hall list or the Guardian list. I could have sworn that it's on some big published list. In any case, I read Oman Ra by Victor Pelevin. Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. The Picture of Dorian Gray and Other Writings by Oscar Wilde. An American Pastoral by Philip Roth. So it was pretty good for classics and modern classics. I didn't read that many murder mysteries. Usually I read a lot more murder mysteries than anything else. This time I read Red Threads by Rex Stout. That was the one that wasn't a Nero Wolfe mystery, but had Inspector Kramer from the Nero Wolfe stories. I finished Fatal Voyage by Kathy Reichs. And that may actually be all my murder mysteries. Oh, End of Watch was just kind of a, suspense murder mystery thing. Yeah, that was all I read murder mystery wise. It was a really weird month in that respect. So that was my October 2023. It was successful. And hopefully November will be as successful, because I would really like to get to my adjusted reading goal for Goodreads. It may or may not happen. But I have finished a book already in November. I finished one of the Andre Nortons that I've been working on. And I'm also reading several other Andre Nortons. I seem to be in that mood lately. So I might actually finish a couple more of those between now and Monday. I'm also reading the one that I'm hopefully going to pronounce correctly for more than 30 seconds, to read a excerpt from it. The Wartime Letters of Rainer Marie Rilke. This is a set of letters that spans before, during, and after World War I. Rilke was a poet and intellectual in Germany during that time. So it's a perspective you don't get very often, and because Germany lost both wars, you don't get as many perspectives from the losing side people. Or at least people don't read them as much. I think they're out there and they're just not translated as much. But what's interesting about this, besides that it's a German perspective, and not a Nazi, important designation there. Rilke in his letters is not just talking about his personal experience going through this time. He also sort of representing how the intellectuals around him are responding to the war, which is really interesting. And because Rilke is a master craftsperson with words, when he's talking about how he feels about the war and about what he's seeing and what's going on, he crafts beautiful words. So he puts into words things that are really hard to articulate about wartime. And a lot of what he's writing really resonates with our modern day because we're watching a horrific war. World War I was one of the first modern wars where the weaponry had advanced to a point where you could kill a lot of people really fast and really easy. So the level of destructiveness and the range of atrocities possible in these battles was beyond what a lot of people expected going into that war. And you see some of that, the horror of war coming out really early in these letters as Rilke is realizing, what it means that they're at war, what it means that all this is going on. There's one letter where he talks about that one of the locations that he had stayed there and was inspired to write all these poems was one of the towns that was destroyed, or at least partially destroyed, during these early battles in the war. And he's realizing that because of the level of destructiveness, that the places that he remembers may just not be there anymore. Which is not the way war always happened before. Anyway, so it's interesting. There's a particular passage I'm hoping I can read without stumbling over the words sometime tonight. But I have not really studied German for a while. I studied it back in high school and early college. So there's some words that even in the English translation, there's some German words still in there that I could have sworn I know how to pronounce them until I try and read them on a video. So we'll see. It may just be that my brain is fried from moving and doing all this other stuff at the same time. But hopefully there will be a reading excerpts video sometime later tonight as well. In the meantime, this was a good year for reading, at least for October. And hopefully November will be just as good. I will talk to you again soon. Watch for the Rilke video, which hopefully will be coming out. Bye, guys.